This is their 13th game. Let's see if they do it again. Bard targeted towards Hybrid. Jhin targeted towards Rekkles.
Yeah, the Braum permaban has been replaced by a very early Bard in many cases, and then maybe a Braum. Recently, Jhin you have to ban against Rekkles. If you look at his accounts, Rekkles is one of those players that over-practices a single champion continuously. Like, he played Jhin every single solo queue game I've met or watched him recently, and he does phenomenally well on it. Same for Febiven, actually. He's been playing Zilean with mixed success, even admitting it in all chats, like, yeah, I'm still learning this champion. But then when he carries, it's like, I'm actually pretty good Zilean. So maybe it comes out today.
I'll find out, as the next ban will be Olaf. Taking that one off the table. Going to allow Fnatic to get their hands on. So, in terms of what is still up, Vladimir comes to mind.
Oh yeah, bunch of power picks, bunch of meta picks. There's just too much to ban out. If you look at junglers, you have like Gragas, which I just like seeing because of the hard engage component. But you have Rekkles if you want to tank. You can still go Elise if you're the kind of the early ganker. So definitely a lot of options on the board. Let's see, the only one that I would agree with is definitely get rid of Vladimir.
And we'll find out if the teams agree. In terms of the Vlad, has been played twice by Febiven. PowerOfEvil's got his hands on it twice as well. And if Rise is not the final ban here, it'll be the first time all split long for Origen. And it is not. So Nidalee, so Rise is up, Vlad is up,
yeah.
Elise is up.
And we didn't mention Nidalee, but you have to ban it against Spirit because Spirit is so good at outpacing and out-jungling his opponents while farming. He is getting to the level that Trick was in Spring, in my opinion. Trick and Spirit shared a very similar style, but Spirit just couldn't make it stick. But lately, especially if you look at their series against Schalke from last week, just look at the early game. The clean shot calling from Fnatic was such a joy to watch. The way they divided the strong and the weak side of the map and played according to it. And then Spirit moving in between all of that, just efficiently taking camps, joining for pushes, ganking. He was really optimizing his time. I think if you go back and you would pause the clock, it's like, okay, Spirit, right now you have 20 seconds to think about your next move. He would still make all those moves because he was thinking perfectly in real time as a Nidalee jungler, and that gives you CS advantages.
And Origen last week, they had some good early game performances against Giants, but it was their mid-game over-aggression that cost them. So this could be an explosive start. Karma, Gragas, there's the Gragas you're liking.
Yeah, on the left side, we have the Vladimir first pick, you know, the S-tier mid laner that everybody's so afraid to play with and against. And then on the other side, Karma gets locked in early as the flex, and honestly, the S-tier support right now. So many teams are prioritizing Karma in their first rotation.
So, does PowerOfEvil have Anivia in his playbook? Or do they have an alternative? In that midweek roundtable, we actually had a discussion around Anivia into Vlad, and the general consensus was team fight's good, everywhere else, don't believe the hype.
She just has answers against some of the core concepts of Vladimir, like what does he do well, you know, he sustains. Anivia can farm from range pretty well, and then later on she can just wall him off and neutralize the waves, and in team fights, yeah, Vladimir goes in and dives on you, just wall behind him and focus him down. Also, when Vladimir walks out in like, we call it like a linear path, very predictable movement, he wants to walk up and Q you, right? That's when you send a frostbolt towards his face, and like if he wants to pull out, sure, you know, buddy, but you just took a lot of health down, and then you still have a wall that could make you force into my jungler. So that's like kind of the logic behind that. Eventually, Vladimir will out-sustain, but I think Anivia is a fine matchup if you get some help from your jungler.
Yeah, I'm looking at PowerOfEvil's most played. Victor, Zio's up there. Some of the potentials. Nami, Ezreal locked in, and both of your supports. It looks like Nami and Karma becoming your S tier, your top tiers.
Yeah, just Nami's a good answer to Karma. We saw it from G2 as well. They finally got their hands on, I think it was Ezreal, Nami into Sivir Karma.
Yep.
And they really bullied that out due to the sustain advantage. Also just like, because I think Mithi and Sven were a superior 2v2 lane. Need to see what they pick up here. A range advantage on the AD carry will be very nice. So I really like the move over to Caitlyn, because now I think Caitlyn Karma can actually win this lane. Super skill matchup. Likely on the LCS stage, super far matchup.
Yeah.
Because nobody really will go to the lengths it requires to start winning in CS, because that exposes you to too many ganks for jungler, teleport, and the payoff is like, what, 10 CS?
Yeah.
As opposed to throwing the game.
Not worth the risk, really. And what do you make of this Kassadin? Into the Vlad, got the magic shield, got the ability to get past Vlad onto the back line. So I guess it's a different approach to dealing with Vladimir?
No, it's a pick we've seen come out. I don't remember where. So this is where I'd be very smart, but I think I've seen it in Korea somewhere. The only problem you have with Kassadin picks is that everybody goes like, but my wave clear, you know, what happens to my wave clear? But that's exactly what happens when you run a Kassadin comp. Like, you shouldn't look at that as a limiting factor. Origen will have to play like 1-3-1 though, because they're planning on putting xPeke in the mid lane, but Caitlyn is a really good mid laner, AD carry. Like, if you put her there, she can trap up, defend for herself. Karma can be around, double poke onto siege onto tower, so like I think it's a good synergistic AD carry mid lane combo, something people don't often talk about too much.
We'll find out if it works for Origen. 1-3-1 requires a level of communication and coordination that really we're not seeing a whole lot of out of Origen.
Yeah, but xPeke is really good at the style. He knows how to play, and that's why also they're leaving the pick lane, the top lane here for last for sOAZ. We see the Trundle come out. This is usually well, you could expect a Gnar here, honestly, and then that way Origen just have to win the side lanes and survive in the mid lane. But Gragas, Caitlyn, Karma is a really robust three-man combo. As long as you have one like hard tank in that three-man combo in the mid, you can actually play 1-3-1 as long as you win your side lanes. And then actually Origen could have a nice composition here. With Fnatic, I like that they drafted some CC. We saw the hover on Kha'Zix, and it would be a horrible fit in this team comp. Elise Trundle, a really strong two-man unit that can start winning these top matchups, because they'll have to fight there.
All right, so the last pick in here is actually Kindred. So the flex on the Gragas is something that we somewhat didn't expect. What does this make for the team composition in your mind?
This kind of goes against all the concepts that I just talked about. Like, the three-man combo in the mid lane is no longer robust. It can stay alive, I guess, but then it'll leave the fight on very low HP. The engage is now centered in their top laner, which feels like he needs to join the fights rather than win his lane on a side lane. I think Gragas does okay against Trundle, but I feel like Trundle will get the upper hand later on. Maybe if sOAZ gets the snowball going, he can start influencing the fight, but I would have rather seen maybe a Gnar here in the top lane.
Not going to be the case. Origen instead going to go for that disengage or that team fight presence in Gragas.
And that, you talk about that, right? Disengage and team fight, but if you look at Origen's composition, they have no target hard CC, no really lockdown whatsoever against a rather mobile and kind of nimble Fnatic composition. And Origen have shown in the past that they struggle in those scenarios where it's like, can somebody stun this guy so we can kill him?
Yep.
And that doesn't happen, and then they're struggling.
Well, we'll find out if they're going to struggle. For now, you guys have seen the team comps. It's time to see the solo lane standoff.
I think I personally struggled a little bit finding the right synergy with our bot lane.
For sure, PowerOfEvil has improved, but it's a team game right now. Like, if your team is not playing good, you're not gonna shine.
PowerOfEvil's down. Giants can clean up the fight.
I mean, how can you really shine when you play only like control mages?
Febiven cleaning house, and that's gonna be the ace for Fnatic.
I'm confident playing any champion at any time.
Every mid lane has his strengths and weaknesses, and you just need to like look at them, at the pros and cons he has, and we can win against everyone.
It's the mid lane week match of the week between European powerhouses Fnatic and Origen. But what a different start to the summer split for both of these teams. All right, let's jump into game. Flash teleport for PowerOfEvil on that Kassadin versus only the single TP on the side of Fnatic. What do you make of that, Crepo?
To be expected, Vladimir really needs that ghost to kind of speed himself up. Really, Crepo? You need ghost? But yeah, he needs ghost to speed himself up in the teamfights and stick to these targets that he's chasing once he gets the swell from Ralias too. You rarely see a Vladimir run in with a teleport, because he's not going to teleport and land. It's like, spook, I'm behind you, I have a pool. You know, that's not what Vladimir does. PoE brings the teleport because he wants to join these side lane skirmishes and then later become a side laner himself. So we see a clear 1-3-1 versus, also a 1-3-1 with Vladimir on a side lane, but he doesn't have the teleport because I don't think he'll be sitting mid with Rekkles all the time in the mid game.
All right, so mid-game questions in terms of summer spells and lane assignments. But first Drake Infernal, straight out the gates, and it looks like a lane swap being started by Rekkles and YellOwStaR. Actually, they're going all the way in for this. YellOwStaR started with the ebb and flow exhaust already being used. Defensive flash from sOAZ. And that's going to slow Amazing as well.
And again, this is Origen not thinking about every single scenario, you know. You see Karma and Caitlyn walking, absolutely murder trade, telling Rekkles, you know what happened right here? It'll happen in lane 2, so you best walk away, buddy. And he walked away. Walked straight into Origen jungle, apparently with no wards whatsoever. They do a blind red buff without dragging it into the brush straight away, and then they get invaded on. Really aggressive exhaust from YellOwStaR, because why would he not use it? I I mean, he's in a lane swap. His game stops right now. He can literally go AFK in 6 minutes from now, as long as he keeps hitting towers. That's all he has to do. So now Origen are forced to react. Look at their pathing. They went for the
Wolf camp.
the band-aid pathing on the wolf camp and then return to the red buff, which means they'll be super late for push on bottom. We'll see sOAZ probably teleport to the bottom to do the lane swap. So at the tail end of this lane swap, Gamsu will have TP advantage, or what's more likely going to happen here is Gamsu going to take this wave bounce, freeze, and on the second part he's going to TP in, accelerate the second part of the lane swap, and maybe that will actually get an Infernal Drake to Fnatic. Let's see if that plays out that way.
Alright, so tempo advantage in the hands of Fnatic on the condition they actually make use of that teleport, right? It's those next phases of the lane swap that we need to measure and equate.
And on the condition that they don't screw up Gamsu here, because last week in this scenario, Gamsu was told to bugger off, teleport, save yourself, and all the gold went to Rekkles and YellOwStaR, and Gamsu was very close to single-handedly losing the game for Fnatic against Schalke if Gilius found that opportunity. Luckily for Fnatic they didn't, and they had some super crisp shot calling afterwards. But Rekkles and YellOwStaR in this scenario last week went up to top again. But this day they're doing the conventional laning 2v, like the laning swap strategy where they go bot lane again.
And of course, in terms of the tempo, keeping your eyes on when they AD carry and support recall and return to their new lane assignment, that's really a big indicator of who's dictating. We can see xPeke and Hybrid making their way up top, while YellOwStaR and YellOwStaR and Rekkles making their way in as well.
I thought they were going for some cheese here because Amazing's taking Krugs away. And he could get collapsed on. If they go for this fight, teleport can come in from Gamsu, but I think they're wiser than this.
So it looks like Gamsu and sOAZ being pushed away from the wave at roughly the same time.
This is super. This is exactly how you would normally watch a lane swap. The only subtle difference here is due to the level 1 invade that the teleports are mismatched. So we need to see once Rekkles pushes up here, if they're going to funnel that advantage into Gamsu going to the tower and then quick into the Infernal, or if they rather just keep, you know, the emergency teleport available.
Now, we have traditionally seen that Infernal Drake has one of the shorter first Drake
Lifespan.
lifespans. Memory serves, it was between the 6.5 7 minute mark, where it has been taken in the past.
Yeah, I actually heard a comment from Monte Cristo on this, on the LCK broadcast. How it's like, Clown Drake actually is the best dragon, fit for survival, because he, instead of survival of the fittest, for Drakes, is actually the opposite. It's survival of the weakest. If nobody likes you, nobody's gonna like try and like steal your bounty and take you out. Therefore, Clown Drake is optimized for survival, and this is what we were expecting here, teleport to keep the minion alive.
Alright, the question is, do Fnatic then go for Dragon? I might assume so. Spirit is in the area, and there are already Origen pings actually on that objective, so Origen's somewhat aware.
Yeah, we need to look at the speed of the lane swap, because despite this teleport, Fnatic's actually a lot slower. Nami's pretty garbage in lane swaps, because she doesn't really... That's her AoE right there, 65 damage on every creep, as opposed to Mantra Q from Karma, barrels from Gragas and the Caitlyn Q, so Tower's looking to finish roughly at the same time. Obviously there's you gotta cover some miles to get to that dragon.
Absolutely the case. Luckily for Fnatic, the objective is free to secure, uncontested, and it all snowballs from a play 5 minutes ago between Rekkles and YellOwStaR.
And that's what's fascinating about League of Legends. If we can actually see this happen in a game where we're like, you know what, play is made here, and it manifests itself 5 minutes later. You know, the invade onto the red buff forced 2 members to go to the right side of their jungle. Because they would run out of camps, they decided to then go back into the left side of their jungle, and then back to the right side and down. Therefore, they lost precious time, and that time obviously gave Fnatic enough time to not be contested on this Infernal.
Yeah, they took it. In terms of CS and levels, pretty even actually across the board here. PowerOfEvil, somewhat, I think, expected to be under some pressure in the early levels, down 10. But a big wave in front of him too.
sOAZ is 6 down, and well, 6 CS isn't really that much.
What is the experience like?
He's still freezing, so yeah, he should be pretty similar. It's my gut feeling.
Yeah.
He's like slightly behind, but he's freezing right now, so if he can keep this farm going. The only issue is right now Gamsu's pathing on a long lane. Really good that Origen kept this freezing here, because look where Gamsu is stuck now. And this is what happens in many Fnatic games. While I'm also one of the reasons why I'm becoming more of a Gamsu fan. He has to stare adversity in the eye almost every single game, and then crawl out of the pit, you know. Whereas Rekkles is given like all these like cushion treatments, like, sir, would you like this farm? You know, can we help you here? And Gamsu's like, guys, I need some help.
Gamsu's been steadily improving throughout the split. I want to keep my eye on if more and more carries start to come into the meta. also how he continues to adapt, because historically he's also been a player that's not really been known for that style of play. Whereas his opposite number, sOAZ, one of the most diverse champion pools available across the many years of experience. Febi's pushing in PowerOfEvil, using its Tides of Blood just to continue.
I wonder how scared Fnatic is of a potential rotation mid here, because we see like this really big wave being built up by Karma and Caitlyn. I wonder if they're gonna run mid and siege mid, and because the bottom side is so passive, the stacked wave is going towards Rekkles and YellOwStaR. Spirit is obviously shifting his attention to the top side and now finds Amazing.
Is a level up predicted or spotted? Amazing coming and easily picks up the kills, all from the vision.
And this is one of Fnatic's strengths. They realize which side of the map is their strong side. Don't go playing aggressively on a side of the map where you have a super stacked wave. As opposed to Origen, Amazing walks into his jungle while his mid lane is pushed in. His top lane was freezing, so voluntarily pushed in. No vision in the river, which means the enemy jungler could have easily pathed it in and warded up your jungle, and you face check and you die. And then, of course, it all pays off for Fnatic. Because look in the bottom lane, that pressure, they may lose some CS on the tower, but they don't care. Rekkles and YellOwStaR here playing for survival.
Yep.
And this is Fnatic really understanding what part of the map to play aggressive on, and Origen not respecting the danger.
And Crepo, you were saying last week against Schalke, Fnatic did exactly the same thing.
Oh, it was beautiful. They swapped. So they had the one phase in the game where Gamsu was slightly behind and Gilius could have killed him on the Shen. After that, they swapped map every side, left, right, left, right. Every time they took another objective, a dragon, a herald. And right here, the objective is Amazing, because he walks into a fully warded jungle, blind, and nobody can help. Gragas stuck at the tower farming, Kassadin stuck at the tower farming. Look at Febiven, he's already pathed up here as a mid laner.
Yeah.
This shows you the value of mid lane priority.
Really, really good read on the game from Fnatic. So they get first blood, they've earned 1,000 gold advantage from some small CS numbers here and there. Truthfully, just a good start.
And who do you think will win here?
Yeah, I'm not quite sure.
I'm more of a CLG fan with some natural bias, but
Hey, the Faith Age, I'm still a believer. He converted me at MSI. But back to Europe.
Yeah, back to
the mid lane week, of course. We're approaching 10 minutes on the clock. And the early game is looking again strong, is looking good for Fnatic.
yeah, and Origen returning here to that Karma Caitlyn lane with the pressure. And I think it's better for Amazing to spend time here, because the Karma Caitlyn lane will always win and push, and then you can use that as your strong side, get wards in, and contest his jungle. But obviously, there's nobody a Fnatic here.
Of course, the next dragon up in 2 minutes. Mountain Drake, worth fighting over. I want to see how much vision gets set up.
Still some time. Usually, if teams really want to prioritize this, they put pressure top, use the members from that area, move them to mid, and then into the dragon area, you know, taking step by step.
And that's going to be more challenging when you consider Gamsu actually got that glimpse of the void. Although, this is going to be a 2v2. sOAZ's barrel, not the greatest. Gamsu's in trouble, though. There's not going to be enough support. Flash away. Spirit's Cocoon doesn't connect, but it's not needed. Gamsu still has a flash available. Subjugate bought him a lot of tanky stats. Febiven has already left the mid lane. He's running up. sOAZ has teleports available. He can use it to escape. He's done it before so many times. The Cocoon goes wide, and sOAZ stays alive!
We call this move a sOAZ at this point. So sOAZ pulling another sOAZ right there. Really good TP. Spirit knew it. He had the gamble. Right now, Gamsu getting engaged on it. But again, this was a play on the side where Fnatic had more influence, more impact. And there was a good reaction from Spirit to keep him alive, but they're lingering quite long here.
Oh, this is a trouble. Spirit's going to give up his life. What can Fnatic take? On the bottom lane, Rekkles and YellOwStaR pushing up. But first kill secured to PowerOfEvil. That's actually could be impactful.
Yeah, that's impactful because this Kassadin needs to snowball on the side lanes. Gamsu switching over here with the teleport. They really want to trade that entire play, the resources spent from Origen, into a turret, because it all started when Rekkles and YellOwStaR were catching this wave in the bottom lane. They pushed it out. They told their team to, like, guys, back off. It's fine, we're pushing. All right, don't back off, whatever. Please don't die. But eventually they push the tower. Gamsu switches over to teleport, and now they can actually maybe go clear out some pinks or keep the area under control, but they look like they want to spend their money before they consider Dragon.
Yeah, I think maybe they needed to have yelled it in Korean. But talking about PowerOfEvil, he's already taking control of the side lane, as has sOAZ, and xPeke, the mid lane ADC, in the mid lane with Caitlyn.
No, I like that really, that gank. Instead of just pathing to bot lane to try and catch that wave against the Nami and an Ezreal, he decided to make an aggressive play in the top lane because he still knew there was some time for that. Worst case, he had a teleport I think to still maybe go somewhere else, or sOAZ could catch that wave. That's the adaptation you need. Instead of just saying, okay, I will go bot, you go top, you will never surprise anybody, and that was very close to being surprised. However, they need to be careful because it was on their weak side of the map, so they need to proceed with the necessary caution.
Yeah, got to read the state of the current game maybe, a little more accurately.
And it's so hard to do that with Fog of War. Like, it's so hard for me to figure out sometimes which side is like the preferential side to play on, and I have everything on my screen. Like, these guys don't see all these dots.
You know, you're talking about everything on screen. Every time I look at the minimap, it feels like Fnatic have got deep vision. If you look around the right-hand quadrant, that's 1, 2, 3, it's like 4 wards in the river, and then one of them is just timed around.
I noticed how 2 minutes ago you were talking about how Origen had set up their vision for Dragon already. Well, that's gone now. Fnatic switched it around at the right timings.
Yeah.
Now, Spirit's right there on that Dragon. They isolate objectives. They match the minion waves especially.
And nobody's contest. So Dragon number 2 at 13 minutes, secured up easily by Fnatic, because I think the vision allowed them to start this safely.
Yeah, vision and minions, because side lane, like top laners or mid laners now on the side lane, they're so busy clearing out these waves. Also, Febiven is just always pushing in his mid wave. Like, it's not like they expect he can step out.
Well, mid lane being pushed. I think this is a mid wave. YellOwStaR costs the title. Bubble flashed away from Peke, stays alive. Febiven actually flashed forward, maybe a little too eager. That's how he gets chunked some more.
Bit of a mistiming on the bubble there from YellOwStaR, leaving a couple of frames there where xPeke can flash, but the pressure is good. It forces them off the tower, and look, PowerOfEvil is still pushing on the side lane. This is a good hold though for Origen, because right now, on the back end of that play, they can get the aggression because their side lanes are pushing right now, and now they have the momentum because this kill failed.
What do Origen do with it? This is the key. Invade blue buff seems to be step number 1. Number of pink wards in the inventory as well, so it can also set up some good vision control. And there is a sentinel to secure.
Yeah, this is where it's really sad for Hybrid that he's out of Sightstone wards, because he could have just dropped like 3 super good wards right there.
Yeah.
1 at blue buff, 1 at the right brush, and suddenly your top laner is under perfect vision, and he can push as far as you want, really at the limits of what you can do in the 1v1. It's actually one of the limiting factors recently. Back when 1v1 was super popular, we had, well, ward slaves as support for one. We had junglers with like
I lost it a long time.
Yeah, we had double sidestone meta, you know. Junglers right now have somehow managed to convince the world that sidestones are bad. So supports take the brunt of that vision, and we only have 3 or 4 wards. We can't ward both sides of the map, especially not when people realize that we die very quickly.
Yeah.
So vision is a really big limiting factor in 1v1 right now.
And I guess prioritizing how you use the limited wards you have will separate the good 1-3-1 teams from the great.
The last one is literally you Golem being Golem. It's like my precious, like you gotta make it count. If you hand it over, it better be for someone.
All right, 15 minutes in, 1-1 in kills, 3 towns to 2. Fnatic still in control. Despite giving up 1 kill by Spirit, I don't feel like they've had any big missteps. You know, used their comps well, applied pressure in the right areas.
They're very similar to H2K or Spring sometimes, Fnatic. They go for the right move, which means the one with, you know, worst case you go even if your opponent makes a mistake.
Like low risk, low reward?
Yeah, something like that. Low risk, like medium reward, because you're always even with these type of plays that they go with their lane assignments. But you'll never surprise somebody. Like the Kassadin move to top where suddenly he jumped on the Gamsu, that is like an atypical move for Fnatic. Like they keep doing the correct assignments, and then if somebody passes into the wrong side of the map, like amazing into that jungle, then they capitalize.
Well, what about Spirit in the jungle? sOAZ actually uses the barrel to clear out the wave. Body slams forward. Has a teleport to escape if he needs it. Might not need it. Bubble into tidal wave. sOAZ gets dunked.
I love it when they highlight what we were talking about. sOAZ is in the same position that Gamsu's in. Guess who's dead? Because they're making a mistake trying to defend the tower, while his team is doing the exact same. Like, if you're undergoing a play, if you're getting dive, though 4v1, or 1v1 as xPeke is going down.
Yeah, Febiven's gonna look for one last auto. Takes a kill. Right, what does this mean? Origen, a few more hits. They haven't got the tower.
Yeah, they need defense though. It was good for Gamsu to back off, but eventually he needs to step up and hit those minions, because almost inhibitor tower goes out, but here's Fnatic coming in with reinforcements.
Yeah, they have indeed. Gamsu's still got Subjugate available. Tidal Wave's not available though. So Fnatic take the inner top, the middle outer, at the cost of 1 turret.
Yeah, 1 turret, and they take sOAZ's life.
And of course gives them a substantial lead at 3,000 gold.
Yeah, and that's the difference that we were talking about. Fnatic, they make this move. Origen can make that move too. They can also go for a bottom and we can trade. But if the Origen slips up at any point in making these moves, Fnatic is ready to punish. Here, the slip up was honestly sOAZ trying to defend the wave he couldn't, and he ended up paying the price for it. He died. So Fnatic get a nice little bonus on their play.
Yeah, paying the iron price for that attempted defense.
It's not how it goes. I've been like playing for this so many times, I now have to correct you. It's the wrong use of the iron price.
Can you explain it to me then?
I mean, if you pay the iron price for something, it means you kill somebody for it. So like technically, the bounty, like Fnatic paid the iron price for the bounty because they slaughtered sOAZ, they slaughtered the turret, and they've been doing like murdering moves.
Thank you for correcting me. I'm glad I am.
You don't know the wrath of like angry Game of Thrones fans. Oh, a Song of Ice and Fire fans. Don't call it Game of Thrones.
Okay.
That's a television series.
So this is the replay, and of course that barrel.
Yeah, he tries to keep them out, but Spirit was flanking, so he didn't account for Elise being behind him. So he tries to solve that by pathing forward. Obviously, he gets caught out.
Yeah.
It's just a defense. Look at Gamsu posturing much more defensively. And then Febiven's like, I'm a mid laner. You were a mid laner, but you're now an AD carry. And that generally means that Vladimir kills people.
That just looked way too easy for Febiven. xPeke. Maybe disrespecting the amount of damage a Spirit Visage Vlad could do if given enough time. Origen have set up a little siege in the mid lane, decent enough traps, decent enough side lane vision as well, so they shouldn't get surprised. PowerOfEvil might be though. He's standing right next to Gamsu. Oh, that was disappointing. I thought a fight was going to happen. But
Yeah, no. Gamsu just wants to not die and farm.
No, I get excited more than I should. Regardless.
Probably a good thing.
Maybe.
The opposite gives you more problems. Cocoon here on xPeke.
Bubble from YellOwStaR. That's what I'm looking for. Not going to get in range to pick that one up. And Peke had flash and heal, so would have been a challenge to land. But look at Fnatic. Grouped up, setting up vision, literally the second Dragon spawns.
Yeah, because we saw Origen playing with deep vision on enemy blue, but there's no Baron to fall back into. Fnatic, they have the right part of the map in mind, but they get their pickings because there's always pressure in mid lane. Febiven will always win that 1v1 there, and Rekkles is still fine playing on the side lanes. Whereas Origen, they can't keep their Kassadin in the mid lane. They're putting it on side lanes because Caitlyn doesn't play that well on the side lane herself. So, nice composition. Not only do they snowball to decision making, their lane assignments are better, and they're just taking really big control of the game because they're way farther ahead than the gold indicates right now.
Yeah. Traditionally, you know, Origen are down at 20 minutes, but it's traditionally 400 gold. Usually they have a stronger early game. Usually they go toe-to-toe with their opponents. Now they're like 4,000 gold down. And Fnatic have got 3 dragons already, 3 kills, 5 towers. Unless PowerOfEvil's Kassadin
Yeah, they need picks.
goes off, I don't see Origen getting back in this game.
Picks are double teleport, so we need to look for any deep like wards that are not spotted by Fnatic, Sweeper, not spotted by Spirit somewhere if he has the buff from the Raptors, and then they need to capitalize on that by flanking. You know, Gragas E-Flash, Kassadin jumping on a single target. They can isolate some targets. They can blow up YellOwStaR, Rekkles, even Spirit if his repel is on cooldown. And that's what Origen's looking for right now. But they can't really buy time with their 3-man combo in the mid lane. We talked about that earlier too. Like Kindred, Caitlyn, and Karma all want to wait for somebody else to get hit. Like you can categorize a champion whether he wants to get hit or wants to wait for somebody else to get hit. Gragas is a champion that doesn't mind getting hit. Like Trundle is a champion that doesn't mind getting hit. But like all these other champs, they're waiting for somebody to take the heat, which means they'll walk backwards. Because nobody wants to get hit.
No,
And
do not.
Feel the pressure.
That's exactly what happens if you get hit. Bubble, tidal wave. Amazing's got enough time to put Lamb's respite. He's going to get the heal, I think. Forced to flash away. Rekkles gets the kill. Gamsu's TP'd in. Throws down the pillar of ice and chomps Hybrid where he stands. Peke's running for his life. Flash and heal. Stands to fight one last time. There will be at least a reply kill onto YellOwStaR, but it doesn't mean a thing. 3 for 1. Rekkles is not done.
Yeah, very clean and crisp here for Fnatic. A play based around vision, forcing a face check. Immediate punish here from YellOwStaR. He eventually goes down, but sacrifices his life. So Origen go down. 3 kills, only for 1. They're now teleporting in with with PowerOfEvil here, but the Dasher is already down. Quick shot.
Double TP just to watch Baron get killed? Now, the only option that Origen had to find picks and get their way back in has been removed.
So this has been eliminated. So now Origen have to play back and defend the siege, and it's going to be incredibly hard because Fnatic can actually split up now, divide the lanes with these Baron buffs. These champions have a very hard time clearing waves. Obviously, their composition was never meant to be put into a position like this. Look at it, Spirit, unseen in that brush. Amazing first. Why is sOAZ not face checking here? Where's the communication? sOAZ was literally in front of him. He could have barrel checked. He could have done anything. He could have walked in because, again, you know, in layman's terms, sOAZ is the one that should get hit here, but his jungler is face checking on a champion that's not designed for it. So Origen, they're really not approaching the game plan as a unit. They're very making fragmented individual decisions. And Fnatic, they always have a goal in mind, so they are working as a unit and they're punishing accordingly.
Origen maybe not aware or disrespecting the vision that Fnatic have for the second time. Amazing thinks he can walk in his jungle, and simply not the case. All right, under siege is this inner turret. Fnatic not able to take this one just yet, playing with a level of respect. And Fnatic not going to back away, using this Baron to its full potential.
Yeah, and Spirit is actually playing double vision duty here because he also purchased the Sidestone. So that's why Fnatic is making all these picks, because they have so much more to work with. It's no longer just YellOwStar's burden. And obviously Spirit can get into those little corners where it's slightly more dangerous too. You can send in your Elise, and Nami wants to stay at the back skirt, the back parts of the fight. Febiven, he can just play up front all the time.
Yeah, there's no real threat here. PowerOfEvil, Lichbane and a fully stacked rower. They're not the kind of damage to kill really a lot of people just yet.
It's the AD carry assassin build. Like you just jump on Ezreal, Alt W, QE, and he's very low. Next R should kill him, but you don't have the time to do that in this comp.
No, I don't think they do. And then the next question is, how do you deal with Febiven's Vlad? Spirit Visage and Rekkles.
I mean, at this point, you close your eyes and hope he disappears.
Unfortunately, if Origen close their eyes, they'll lose their inhibitor turret. Fnatic, they've not let up just yet. It looks like Spirit has moved to the bottom lane. That is a very, very big minion wave.
Yeah, look for the zone here. Probably a pillar on the left. Keep them off the turret.
Such clean game. Rekkles landing a number of auto attacks on the turrets. Febiven's going to pull in. Throws down the Hemo plate to force Origen away. Inhibitor's been broken open. PowerOfEvil throws one Rift Walk down, but that was just clean and clinical from Fnatic.
Yeah, Fnatic bide their time. They know there's a massive minion wave. They realize there's a lack of wave clear in Origen's composition. That isn't always necessarily a bad thing, but Origen win condition is based around snowballing or not falling too far behind, and that's exactly what they did. And now Fnatic is reaping the benefits of, honestly, an immaculate early game.
Yeah, they've opened up the base in the middle lane now. Inhibitor not going to be able to be taken down. sOAZ fancies an opportunity. PowerOfEvil, he's gone forward, forced a flash away, running for his life. They're just too far behind. It's approaching 10,000 gold and super minions in the bottom lane, and another Mountain Drake.
Yeah, and Fnatic, they're also making these little adaptations in their builds to build towards snowballing. Rekkles going for the Triforce, you know, instead of the Iceborne Gauntlet. Right now we have Spirit switching to a vision approach. It says, like, I don't need to do more damage or tankiness. We just need to see where our opponents are and then just punishing them for that movement. And they keep picking up these dragons, and that means if Fnatic make a slip up, they can get Elder and get like a quadruple boost on their true damage bonus, and that's just insane.
Yeah, there's going to be nothing that'll stand in their way at that point. Mountain Drake, vision is already set up. There's even a ward just outside that pink side vision.
Spirit.
Nexus. Did he smite that?
Well, he now has a blue buff, so just double check. Yep, that's a fresh one. He smoked that.
Well, here we go. So even taking the buffs away from Origen, there's just nothing left for them to do.
Assume fetal position.
Close your eyes until they go away.
Just pray for game two. Game two. It's the best of two.
Well, Fnatic now regroup towards the middle, top half of the map. Only one inhibitor turret still remains. And Origen, let's see what they can do.
Like every single member here has an item up on their counterpart, it seems.
Yeah, there's just so much more damage and survivability for Fnatic to make use of. We're only 26 minutes into this game. This is the level of control not used to seeing. sOAZ gets chunked out after Spirit lands a very good cocoon. Inhibitor's not really been focused though. Subjugate, I think, was thrown onto xPeke.
Look at them dance around the traps though.
Yeah, one of them's stepping forward. Rekkles, a little aggressive on that arcane shift. It's going to be enough to zone xPeke out. That allows the inhibitor to get taken down safely.
These arcane missiles from Rekkles though.
Over and over, finding the key targets. PowerOfEvil on this Kassadin. Maybe it had the opportunity, in theory, but in practice was never given a chance. Nexus turret number 1 is taken down. Fnatic looking to close this out with a very convincing finish. 5 members get knocked away by the sOAZ explosive cast, and Febi, he flashes forward with a charge of Tides of Blood. Amazing, forced to use Land's Respite just to stay alive, and Fnatic gonna play this one controlled, waiting for more supers.
Yeah, waiting for more super creeps. They also have like a third lane they could siege, they could back off. They likely have a lot of gold in their pockets. Roughly 5,000 gold unspent right now on the Fnatic team. Baron's coming up in a minute, and they can easily isolate that objective with some really good warding, so they shouldn't over-push it. The only way Origen come back is if Fnatic greed for a quick finish, and then they lose Baron.
And I don't think that's really likely. Fnatic, this iteration of Fnatic, has not traditionally done that type of play. The greed.
No, they're very safe in their approach. We need to see if they start being too safe at points when teams can actually challenge them and keep matching their style. Because if a team plays a similar style to Fnatic, where it's okay, you go left, I go right, then the team with the better late game draft will win. Unless they really start forcing around some of these dragons and win out that way with a slightly earlier oriented composition. But then we need to see in late game if these members of Fnatic, while even have enough individual talent to go against the best of the world, right? We've seen plenty of teams in history, even at World Finals, that had a slower approach.
Yeah.
But then late game, they're just better players than you, and you struggle.
We'll have to find out where Fnatic rate on that scale. I'm quite happy though, because the 2 previous games we cast had a whole lot of Cloud Drakes. Today, 3 mountains in a row. It's another Infernal on the
Got
cards.
the Cloud, now we get the Silver Lining.
Exactly. Let's hope it keeps up in the second game of the series.
I mean, at this point, it doesn't really matter what the Drakes had been, though. I mean, I guess the tower
would have
siege,
been irrelevant.
The tower siege definitely was sped up by the amount of cloud, by mountain Drakes here.
Well, Baron's
jungle
dead.
Gragas.
That's so quick. sOAZ was able to throw a barrel in, but
That's probably your preferential 4-dragon composition if you want to take a quick Baron. 3 mountains and an Infernal. It doesn't get much better than that.
no, it absolutely does not. Especially with a 10,000 gold lead as you approach 30 minutes. Supers in 2 lanes, and the only thing left between Fnatic and the Nexus turrets is these top lane inhibitor turrets and hit him.
Yeah, Peck is not even in position to build this wall, so... Because they need him on side lane clear duty. Here he is. 1, 2, 3.
The wall has had little to no impact on Fnatic's ability to run around it.
It's more of a ledge at this point.
A ledge.
We have to build a ledge, and we'll probably pay for it ourselves. The ledge is a little short too, not spaced out, so Rekkles gets a free entry point here. Tower goes down to 15%.
They do not fall prey to the ledge. No tripping. It was done this day as Fnatic break open the inhibitor in the top lane. We continue to siege with those 3 Mountain Drakes. Gamsu's keeping 2 members of Origen busy. PowerOfEvil, you're not defending your base, man. And the rest of Fnatic dive in. Amazing's going low. He flashes away defensively. Hybrid does the same. Peck is caught by the tidal wave, and Febiven will secure a kill with Tides of Blood. Looking for more. Jumps forward in range to land the transfusion. Nexus turrets are wiped clean. Nexus falls thereafter. And Fnatic put on a dominant display to destroy Origen in game 1 of our match of the week.
What a beautiful sample of Ledge of Legends here from Fnatic. Honestly, I really like the chain reaction and the momentum of these plays. You know, the early invade, snuck through the wards, challenged Origen's jungle, and from that point on played it out perfectly, using their teleport at the right time to accelerate the gameplay. First Infernal, switch the map up every time, and then that pick from Spirit onto Amazing. We need to look like back how that was allowed to happen. If there's anything Origen could have done, they were freezing too long. Freezing is always short-term benefit, long-term pain if you get punished, and Origen, they paid the price. It wasn't iron, but they paid it.
They did indeed. And just broken faces on the side of Origen. Still looking at the clients, still looking at their PCs. This is one of the tougher games where we have to talk about player of the game and looking for, because
Right, we have to select
this is a team.
I like that
A
hint.
team victory, right? I'm trying to get the creative juices flowing here because I don't
It's
know.
like right after when we go off air, somebody buzzes us and asks us
I know
about
we
player
have
of the games.
we have to nominate a victor, and this is one of the times I want to say like shot caller, like who.
For me, it's probably Spirit. I'll have the open discussion.
Oh,
here, you
great!
know?
Thank you very much. I'm looking for some advice.
Yeah, no, I think Spirit will be okay because his picks were fundamental. Honestly, it's down to his shot calling. You can argue Febiven too, but at that point, like, do you reward Febiven for playing the matchup correctly with Vladimir, which is AFK push,